G'day, I'm Adam at Top Oz Tours and Travel Ideas. Thank you for dropping by to watch this video. Now, if you ever watch the news, which possibly you don't because it's way too depressing, you will know that interest rates are on the rise, cost of living is rising, everything is getting more expensive, and of course that is impacting on our ability to take a holiday. Well, in this series of videos, we're bringing you tips for ways to save money on travel to some of Australia's most amazing destinations. And this week it is all about beautiful Brisbane and what an incredible travel destination the Queensland capital has become. Of course, you've got the magnificent Brisbane River flowing right through the city. Lots of activities take place on the river itself and along the riverfront. You've got the magnificent South Bank parklands, which you can just catch a glimpse of over my shoulder there on the monitor. Absolutely stunning. A world-class cultural scene to explore. We're going to delve into that a little bit later on, and amazing cafes and restaurants to boot. Now, if you're looking for a video on things to do in Brisbane, we do have one of those as well. I will put a link on the screen to that right now, but I would recommend that you watch this video first, then head over to that one because this one will save you money. And don't forget to watch this video all the way through because at the end I have a marvelous money saving opportunity for you. More on that coming up shortly. But right now, here are 10 tips for saving money on travel to Brisbane.
Travel ideas and inspiration.
Alrighty, tip number one, very, very simple when you think about it, but it will save you money. Choose your travel dates for Brisbane very, very carefully. Try and travel outside of peak periods like school holidays, obviously. Peak season is considered to be through the middle of the year, so June, July, August, September, when the weather is milder, humidity is lower, it's a lot more comfortable. According to Trivago, the most expensive months, unsurprisingly, to book a hotel are June, July, August, and September. Also February, strangely enough, I'm not sure why. But that's worth keeping in mind, as is the peak periods for booking flights. According to Skyscanner, November and December are actually the cheapest months of the year to travel. And according to Trivago, they're the cheapest months to book a hotel. So definitely worth considering the dates for your travel very carefully because it will save you money when you are traveling to Brisbane. Alrighty, tip number two, how to save money on your accommodation in Brisbane. It is of course going to be probably your biggest expense unless you have friends in the capital and you can couch surf, that's fantastic. If not, you are going to have to get creative. Let's talk about hostels to start with because that is by far the cheapest option in Brisbane. And a lot of hostels in our capital cities offer private rooms with ensuite bathrooms as well as the dorm accommodation options. Now, jump on the Hostel World website. It is fantastic because it gives you a rundown on all of the hostels in town that have private rooms with ensuite bathrooms. Dorm rooms, gonna set you back somewhere around the $40 a night mark, but again, if you don't want to share, which of course you probably don't, have a look at those private rooms. You can usually find something very, very close to the city centre. That's a big improvement on a minimum hotel price of around $200 a night in Brisbane. Well worth looking at. Alrighty, now public transport in Brisbane is great, but if you are going to explore further afield during your stay, so you want to get outside of the CBD, you are going to need a car. It is going to be another major expense. I don't know if you've noticed, but the cost of car hire has skyrocketed since the pandemic. The secret to getting a great deal on your car hire in Brisbane is to use a company based away from Brisbane Airport. They are always significantly cheaper than the majors based at the airport. I would suggest having a look at Juicy. A lot of people consider them to only be for backpackers, but hey, a car's a car. They do car hire. They are based at Eagle Farm and they offer a courtesy bus to and from their depot from the airport. There is a link to them in the video description below, and I would appreciate it if you would grab a quote using that link. Yes, it is going to take a little bit longer to get yourself behind the wheel, but hey, it will be worth it in terms of the saving. Brace yourself, this might come as a little bit of a shock, but Brisbane is actually the second most expensive place to live in the country, only fractionally behind Sydney, according to finder.com.au. How is that relevant to you, I hear you ask, as a traveller? Well, things like the cost of food, transport, all of those types of expenses will impact on your holiday budget. Filling up your car can be really exy for that reason. Have the fuel app on your phone so that you can find the cheapest fuel around you. Often just driving from one suburb to the next will save you a significant amount of money. All right, now if you're dead against getting a car, and I don't blame you, to be honest, it's a big expense. The first step to using Brisbane's public transport system is to get yourself a Go card. You can actually travel without a Go card. You can buy tickets as you go, but it's going to cost you $2 more roughly per ticket. So it's definitely worth getting a Go card. You can pre-order one online, or you can pick one up at the AirTrain counter in Brisbane when you arrive. Now, another tip for using Brisbane's public transport system is to travel off-peak, because you are going to save 20% on every trip you take. Fantastic, that sounds good. You need to travel between 8:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. You don't need to do anything special. It's calculated automatically for you. Just tap on and off, and that 20% discount is all yours. Bargain. Tip number 6, now I mentioned AirTrain a moment ago, and if you are planning to navigate your way around Brisbane using public transport, AirTrain is by far the easiest way to get from the airport into the CBD and back to the airport again. There is a cheaper way to do it. There is actually a bus that you can take, but you've got to get a separate bus to this kind of interchange thing, and then you've got to wait for the bus and then get the bus and get it into town. Particularly if you're dragging bags behind you, it's not an easy way to do it. AirTrain is far easier, far faster. And at the moment, AirTrain is offering an advance purchase deal, which will actually save you 50% on the cost of your return ticket. I think it's, from memory, it's about $17, but check out that advance purchase deal. It's around $17 per person. Now, if you want to supplement your public transport use without spending a dime, you can ride on the 3 free bus loops that operate in Brisbane. Not a lot of people are aware of this, but there are 3 free buses you can take. The first is the City Loop. It does a loop, unsurprisingly, of the CBD, and it operates Monday to Friday. There is also an add-on to that service, the Spring Hill Loop, which operates 7 days a week, and you can walk over the Victoria Bridge and hop onto the new South Brisbane Loop, which also operates 7 days a week. It's a nice, easy, cheap way to orientate yourself in Brisbane, and you can do a little DIY hop on, hop off bus tour. Okay, we are getting down to the nitty gritty. Now, while you're riding that free bus loop around South Brisbane, hop off at the Cultural Precinct and get amongst Queensland's preeminent cultural institutions. They are free to see. You've got the excellent Queensland Art Gallery. They've got an amazing early Picasso, which is well worth seeking out. Also, fabulous Goma, the Gallery of Modern Art, much loved by Brisbaneites. There is always something incredible going on there, but you can see their permanent collection for free. You've got the Queensland Museum, very, very popular with families. Also, the State Library of Queensland. Their Extraordinary Stories series is well worth checking out. Again, they've always got something interesting to show and tell. Now, over in the city itself, drop by City Hall to visit the absolutely free of charge Museum of Brisbane. I can't recommend this highly enough. It's a museum dedicated to showcasing the history and social fabric, I guess you would say, of Brisbane itself. Really, really interesting. They have regular changing exhibitions. You can also do a free tour of the clock tower and head up to the top of that tower for incredible views of the city centre. So that is also well worth checking out, the Museum of Brisbane. There are ways to save money on eating out in Brisbane. Definitely do some research into dining deals. Sites like Groupon, for example, they quite often have vouchers and deals and all sorts of things at different pubs, clubs, restaurants around town. That's definitely worth at least having a look at. Also plan to visit Eat Street North Shore a couple of times during your holiday. I absolutely love this place. It's basically a conglomeration of street food vendors housed in disused shipping containers on a disused wharf on the edge of the Brisbane River, just down a little bit from Hamilton. They have this amazing range of street food, also free entertainment, which is great. I love the laneway bar section, that's really interesting. So head down there a couple of times during your stay because you'll really enjoy it. Great food, great entertainment, and fantastic prices. Now, we all know that when you visit a new city, there is no substitute for a local's perspective, and that is what you will get on a free guided walking tour with one of the Brisbane Greeters. It's run by the City of Brisbane. Now, these are volunteers that give their time to take visitors on a little stroll around the CBD. The route that they take is actually up to the greeter themselves, so they'll often showcase things that they're interested in. So you could do this in theory a couple of times during your stay and have a completely different experience both times. You need to book your Brisbane Greeter tour online. That's easy to do, and as I said, it is free of charge. Well, that pretty much wraps things up. And because you have watched this video all the way through, I have something very special for you. If you would like to save 10% on any of the tours and experiences available on the Top Oz Tours website in Brisbane, that 10% off is all yours. We have river cruises, day trips, walking tours, you name it, save 10% right there. Alrighty, thank you for watching. Please give this video the thumbs up. It really helps us out, and I will see you next time. Happy travels.